Effort to better understand my own upbringing, I've been reading a lot about cults. I found this docuseries on Netflix about Colonia Dignidad, a German colony in Chile. The founder was this man named Paul Schaefer, who was able to get his pioneers from people who were really severely affected by World War II. Mostly East Germans. Now, I remember when the Berlin Wall came down and the stark contrast between West Germany and East Germany. So I can picture how these people must have really not had enough food and not had enough resources, and how they might have been drawn to someone who was charismatic, who was using Christianity in a way to tell them that they were special, that they were chosen, and then who would give them food, have them confess their sins, and put them in a place where they have sort of this feeling of a family. So I'm watching this docu-series, not knowing where it's going, right? Not knowing how severe it's going to get. The founder is very clearly a pedophile, and the people in this cult have been trained to look the other way. Just look the other way? Where do we see this today? Everyone's separated into groups. There are groups of men, groups of women, groups of children, and they're also separated by their genders. Purity culture is taken to the extreme. Women are seen as a temptation and sinful just because they're women and tempt men for existing. And these people are going along with it, in part because they really believe and they still think they're chosen and they have this admiration for their leader, but also in part because once they get to Chile and they get in this Colonia Dignidad, their passport is taken. And they really can't leave, even if they want to. And the people in this colony, they speak German. They don't ever integrate and learn to speak Spanish, so that makes them even more isolated. It's made me feel gross inside. All of these things that cults have in common: a charismatic leader, following him as if he can do no wrong while he's committing human rights abuses. This feeling of belonging, this feeling of having a common purpose, but being isolated from the outside world and having an us versus them mentality, and holding on to their culture as if they're a chosen people and as if they're better than those around them, but really not having any choice to leave, not having any choice to be anything but a prisoner of the mind. Often in these situations, something happens to end it. And that did eventually happen to Paul Schaefer, but it took decades. He was supported by the Chilean government. He was supported by those in power who he was close buddy friends with. And they would take their political prisoners to him. Paul Schaefer, the guy who started this group, took this to such an extreme that they were torturing people for the Chilean government. Like taking them down to cellars and disappearing people and torturing them with electricity. We need to be careful. We have so many cults in this country already. And this is the first time I've read about one that really thrived this well and was supported by the government and was used to this extreme, and it's really dangerous.